Celebrities are some of the most beloved and admired people in our time, and their works in movies, music, and more has inspired many of us to follow in their footsteps. Many will do anything to achieve such status. For the very few that do make it, it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Many will never experience such fame and fortune, but that doesn't stop those from trying. However, the world of the celebrity can be a difficult and demanding profession. Frequent performances, the popularity, and the mental stress can all take their toll. However, one of the scariest of these is being stalked by an obsessed fan. On July 18, 1989, up-and-coming actress and model Rebecca Schaeffer was murdered by an obsessed fan by the name of Robert John Bardo. Bardo had stalked Schaeffer over the course of several years and developed an obsession with the star. He then went to her house in an attempt to woo her. When Schaeffer refused his advances, Bardo shot her in the stomach with a gun he had brought with him. Schaeffer then later died at the hospital. Schaeffer's death would be the catalyst for the nation's first anti-stalking laws. This is the story of the death of Rebecca Schaeffer. Rebecca Lucille Schaeffer was born on November 6, 1967 in Eugene, Oregon. Daughter to a prominent Jewish family, Schaeffer originally wanted to become a rabbi, but she took up modeling instead. Schaeffer had her first shoot at age 16. She would appear in clothing catalog magazines and would be an extra on local television stations. As her career took off, her parents let her move to New York City in 1984. While in New York, she attended the Professional Children's School, a nonprofit school for aspiring students to get into the entertainment industry. During this time, she got a part on a soap opera series called Guiding Light. At the end of 1984, Schaeffer landed the role of Annie Barnes on the ABC show One Life to Live. Due to having a height of 5'7", she was passed up for modeling jobs due to her small height. This made it difficult for her to get modeling jobs both in the US and in Japan. As her modeling career began to falter, she left Japan for New York City to pursue a career in acting. In 1986, she had a role in the Woody Allen movie Radio Days, but most of her footage was edited from the final cut of the film.
If he is watching, he's probably thinking of all the years he did these parades.
Bill Conrad?
Yeah, Bill was the head host from New York, just like Linda and Patrick are in The Bubble.
Oh, well, we've got to wish you, Bill Conrad, a happy Thanksgiving.
That's a good idea. Happy Thanksgiving Day, Bill, and to you and your family, and I'll see you back on the set Monday morning, bright and early.
Schaeffer then got a job as a waitress and continued to do sporadic modeling gigs before appearing in the 1987 issue of 17 Magazine, a magazine for teenagers. At that time, she was then discovered by a talent agent. Rebecca's call to fame came in October of 1986 when Schaeffer got a prime lead in the comedy sitcom My Sister Sam. In that show, she plays a character named Patricia Patty Russell. Rebecca's character revolved around a teenager moving from Oregon to San Francisco to live with her sister Samantha after the death of the main character's parents. The show was a big hit with audiences, but it was canceled because of falling ratings.
Well, I kind of get a kick out of having my kid sister live with me. I mean, of course it has its disadvantages.
Curfew.
Yeah, but it's energizing having someone live with you who has big dreams.
Rock star.
What happened to Senator?
That was last week.
Dreams, that's what it's all about.
Everything starts like a knock at the door. You don't know what it is, but you know who it's for. That's the way we began, and there's no end inside. Oh, something so good must be right. Be right. There's room enough for two in a place that I know of. Has a city view with a blue sky above. Anywhere is home where there's someone there to share it. There's room enough.
Well, let's see. The plates can go on the coffee table. The lounge chair can go next to the sofa, and the picture of Eric can go on the wall over there. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but wouldn't you rather have all these things with you in your room? You know, where nobody could steal them?
Oh, I get it. Sam, I've been waiting for my stuff to get here so I could really feel settled in, like I live here too.
Patty, it's just that this is more than just a place where we live. I mean, it's where I work. I've tried really hard to create a certain look here. A certain lack of plastic.
Sam, you know...
Why don't you do what I did when Timmy wanted to keep his ant farm in the living room?
What?
Wait till he goes to school and then flush the suckers.
Schaeffer then landed roles in movies like Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, The End of Innocence, and Out of Time. By 1989, she had been accepted for the role of Mary Corleone for The Godfather Part 3, set to be released in 1990. Robert John Bardo was born on January 2nd, 1970 at Edwards Air Force Base in California. His mother was of Japanese or Filipino descent, and his father was a non-commissioned officer in the Air Force. The family moved around often, and this made making friends difficult for Robert. The family has been described as dysfunctional and traumatic, and Bardo had been reported to have been abused as a child and was committed to an institution for attempting suicide. The family was described as having mental issues, and Bardo dropped out of school in his 9th grade year and found a job as a janitor at a Jack-in-the-Box restaurant. Bardo had been cited and arrested for acts of domestic violence and disorderly conduct. Neighbors who lived next to the Bardos noted Robert's strange and aggressive behavior towards them. At some point, Bardo began to fixate on celebrities and influential people. He, at one time, had a fascination with the young peace activist named Samantha Smith, who later died in a plane crash. Soon after, Bardo then began to have an affinity with Rebecca Schaeffer. He wrote dozens of fan letters to her and even received an autographed photo of Schaeffer, which motivated Bardo even more to physically find the actress. He attempted to access the studio of My Sister Sam, where Schaeffer was working, but he was turned away by security. Bardo then returned to his home in Tucson, Arizona, and lost interest in Schaeffer for a while and focused on other celebrities of his obsession. He once again attempted to reach Schaeffer, this time with a knife, and once again he was turned away. Bardo then attempted to find Schaeffer's address through the California Department of Motor Vehicles, or DMV, to obtain a copy of Schaeffer's residential address. With that, he attempted to find Schaeffer once again. On July 18, 1989, Rebecca Schaeffer was at her home in Los Angeles, California. She was getting ready for the role in the upcoming 3rd installment of the crime thriller The Godfather. Bardo believed that the address was correct and asked residents around the neighborhood for Schaeffer's exact location. Rebecca's doorbell rang and she answered it, thinking that it was her script for the movie. Instead, it was Bardo. He then showed Rebecca the signed photo that her agent had sent him, along with some other items. The two then had a short conversation in which Schaeffer told him to leave her alone and never come to her house again. Bardo then left to eat breakfast, but then returned to Rebecca's neighborhood. This time, he had a weapon, a Ruger handgun. He once again appeared at Rebecca's house. Schaeffer was irritated and clearly annoyed, but before she could respond, Bardo shot her in the chest and Schaeffer collapsed on the floor. "Why?" she screamed. Bardo fled the scene and Schaeffer was rushed to the hospital, where she died 30 minutes after arrival. Afterwards, Bardo left for Tucson. It is reported that he wandered in and out of traffic on Interstate 10 and was bragging about killing Rebecca Schaeffer. Police officer Peter Ronstadt apprehended Bardo and he immediately confessed to the murder. Marcia Clark, who would later go on to work on the O.J. Simpson trial, was the lead prosecutor. During the trial, Bardo had expressed anger at Schaeffer for a sex scene in the 1989 movie Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. In that film, Schaeffer's character, named Zandra, has sex with another man. She had become another Hollywood whore, Bardo said. He also cited the song Exit, performed by the rock band U2, as a reason for the murder. In the courtroom, Bardo can be seen bobbing his head and mouthing the lyrics from the song. Bardo also carried the book The Catcher in the Rye, the same book that Mark David Chapman had when he killed former Beatles member John Lennon. Doctors who studied Bardo claimed that he had schizophrenia and suffered from mental illness at the time of the murder. Bardo was found guilty of premeditated murder in the first degree and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the aftermath of the murder, California passed the nation's first anti-stalking laws, and in 1994, Congress passed the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, which prevents the DMV from releasing individuals' private information to the public at large. The murder of Rebecca Schaeffer still haunts the Los Angeles entertainment scene. Rebecca's father, Benson Schaeffer, stated, "Me and my wife sobbed together for a very long time. The entire world was just unbelievable to me."